Recording button.
Good morning, everyone! Happy Wednesday, guys. Today it is May 6th, 2026. The time is 6:42 a.m. Welcome, everyone, to our morning reflection. And, well, guys, I gotta tell you something subtly important. Yesterday, I went to sleep at around 11 p.m. because I was spending like a whole hour just sitting in my bed, just thinking about the good moments that I had during the pandemic years, especially 2020. Because here is what I remember about those years, about 2020. So, I used to have a handheld recorder device. I used to have more than one, actually, and I used to play with it. I used to record myself doing different things. Which I wouldn't probably get further into detail because, I don't remember exactly what I did. But I used to record a lot of things. I used to also like ambulances a lot when I was 9 years old. But around that time, guys, it was like the days just felt undefined because I was just stuck at home and just, I don't know, doing my own things. And after like July, I kind of felt a little scared to go outside for the first time again in months. Because, well, I might have gone outside like in April. I actually remember going outside a few times in April of 2020. But after that, nope. But my kitchen window, guys, would always be open. Every single day. I would go to the window. And I wouldn't just go to the window to just enjoy nature, but I would also wait for an ice cream truck. And whenever they come, I get my recorder quickly, and then I press the record button. And then I put my recorder in a weird position, like between the mesh, like inside the mesh screen, basically. The sound is heard so clearly that you can even feel it. So every time an ice cream truck used to arrive at my house every single day, maybe like at 4 or 6 p.m., I would run to my window, and the window would be already open, and then I would record it. But sometimes, the window might be closed. But when it's open, I'm very happy to hear the ice cream truck. And I would spend the whole length of the time in which the ice cream truck stood in the, looking out the window. In this case, it's not seeing the window, but it's listening to the sounds outside. And after they would leave, sometimes I would stay near the window for a while, and sometimes I would do something else. But I used to not have my phone back then. I used to not have any phone back then. I would just spend the entire day recording, and that's it. Because here's how my some mornings look like. So, I would wake up, probably like at 5 a.m. sometimes. I would go to the bathroom. I would start recording. I would say, "Good morning, everyone," as if I'm talking to people, but I'm actually talking to myself and my own recorder. I kind of create like a movie, basically. Because when I have a lot of recordings, when I press the play button, it kind of plays everything I've recorded. So yeah. So it's an audio handheld recorder. It already broke, guys, a couple years ago. After maybe 2023. Yeah, that recorder already broke. It doesn't function anymore. Some of the buttons came off. And that, yeah, that's how objects are, guys. They might seem good, and then moments later, they start to degrade and eventually break. That's how impermanence works. And before I had the recorder that broke in 2023, I used to have another handheld recorder, like, from March 2020 all the way up to, like, June, I think. That recorder was pretty accurate, guys. It was not like the handheld recorder. It was not like the other one. But, you know, as always, I used to record myself playing random songs on the piano. I used to, like, come up with, like, a few pieces, and then I used to play it. Because, to be honest with you guys, I feel like back then, my song creations were more like, I feel like it was more easier for me to create a song. Like, it was kind of natural to do it. But I don't know why. Now it's kind of different. But I used to play, like, random songs about North Central Bronx, or going to the emergency room. I used to create random songs like that. And I used to record a whole session, like, with me, like, playing those songs on the piano. My piano used to be very, I used to be very active with my piano, guys, when I was 9. Yeah. It was a lot to remember, guys. Yesterday, I spent almost an entire hour with what felt like remembering all those good stuff. From, yeah, because something about that year just felt so special. The days were almost undefined. There was nothing on my agenda. There was no school because of the pandemic. Well, eventually I went to online school, which kind of shifted things a bit. Yeah, but there was no school. Days almost felt peaceful. It kind of felt like mindfulness was natural. You know, that special feeling that, you know, kind of feels, how do I explain it? Like, it kind of feels awkward remembering this today, because today I no longer have awkward or undefined moments like I used to have in 2020. Well, sometimes I might have slower days where things might feel peaceful, but it's mostly replaced by, like, digital distractions, like my phone and stuff, which is pretty normal. And that kind of makes sense why I have less of those days. Because I used to not feel bored back then, guys. I would just record for the entire day, sometimes. Look at the window. Listen to, I used to listen to a lot of baby shows when I was 9. With my brother, I used to listen to baby shows. I would just sit in my living room and just listen to baby shows, while I do other stuff like recording and sometimes a little bit of imagination, you know, like I do now. But it was more, my imagination was really focused on kind of sequences, like an ice cream truck coming to my house, and then stopping, and then leaving. A full sequence. And I would really like that. And every day, guys, I would always get this pattern sometimes where I would hear ambulances in the distance the entire day almost. And then in the evening, sometimes they would come near my house and I would hear it and I would record it also. And every time an ambulance passed by my house, I would always run I would always run to the window, just like I did with an ice cream truck. And I would press record. And even after 2020, I would do that all the time too. Even after 2020, I would always run to my window and listen to the ambulances pass by. Yeah. Especially on summer days. But there was a particular day, guys, I think it was in April of 2020. An ambulance passed by my house around 11 a.m. I think. And I heard the siren blare. It was very loud, guys. I was recording, guys, even before the ambulance passed by, because as soon as I heard a faint siren sound in the distance, I was like, oh, maybe I can record. Maybe it'll come to my house. Maybe it'll pass by. So, as always, I went to the window. I pressed record on my handheld recording device, and then I would just record the ambulance until it passes by. And after that, I would listen to my videos over and over again. I don't know, until I get tired or until I change subjects. But those moments were not just undefined, but they were also kind of funny, kind of awkward. You know. But now things has changed, guys. Now in 2026, I don't do those stuff anymore. I don't run to the window, because now I also realize that I don't have to catch every moment. I can just observe wherever I am without having to run to the window just to record an ambulance or an ice cream truck. And also, want to avoid injuring myself, because I remember a couple of years ago, guys. I think it was after 2020. It was in 2021 in May. There was an ice cream truck. I ran, and I banged my knees against the refrigerator, I think. And that definitely left some scars for a couple weeks, some minor bruises. Yeah, minor bruises. Just because of a simple ice cream truck. And I kind of learned a lesson after that, guys, but slowly. But quietly in my mind, I kind of learned a lesson. I don't have to run to catch an ice cream truck. You know, I can just observe where I am and, you know, sort of observe your experience from wherever you are instead of having to run and catch it. And especially capture it, record it, which I used to do, and I used to not know about it. And that applies to everyone, guys. When it comes to wanting to take a picture of, let's say, the Brooklyn Bridge City Hall, why not observe it for 5 minutes first and then take a picture, instead of immediately just capturing it? Or maybe better, not do it at all, because according to Ed Sheeran's song Camera, capturing a moment, you lose the sense of presence. You kind of lose the beauty. You kind of lose the satisfaction of the moment because of capturing it. It might not make sense, but capturing a moment actually, wanting to record it, actually makes you lose the present moment. Because you're worried about missing out instead of worrying about actually enjoying it yourself and processing it yourself. Now, just knowing that you have a memory stored in a recording device, that might possibly, well, it might be normal to feel guilty if you ever, but, you know, just knowing that you have a saved memory inside a recording device is, you know, how do I explain this? It kind of, your brain sort of forgets it, because it knows it has the saved memory inside the recording device. Compared to if you just reflect on it yourself or with AI, which I do. Well, I might start shifting to reflecting on myself, because AI will not do anything for that. particularly ChatGPT.
Yeah,
Will not do.
particularly,
They will not. ChatGPT will not.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, ChatGPT will not do anything
Exactly.
because ChatGPT is just a computer. It just tells you. It kind of just mirror. How do you say? It kind of mirrors your emotions instead of like adding challenges to it. So it feels like nothing. It feels like it might feel like you are satisfied, but it's kind of like not. It's kind of like an empty feeling.
No, man, it just feels like
Yeah,
it feels like
Pause
an
button.
answer.
Stop recording button.
So yeah, instead of
Double dash tab to
ChatGPT
activate
telling you to
Tiberium.
find it out, it kind of just tells you the answer right away, which might be good for if you want to know things right directly. And I also prefer ChatGPT because I get answers directly. I don't have to go to any websites and find it out because it's a lot of scrolling. And before the 2020s, guys, I would go to websites. They would provide information, guys, but sometimes they would provide me with a lot of links that I don't even know what they're even talking about. And that's why now I have Google Gemini with me. I ask Google Gemini every question instead of having to go to a website. But there are some exceptions because let's say a website is complex. I might look at complex websites, like maybe like the MTA or special, with intention. But for basic or questions that don't involve having to look, that's what I might ask. That's what I ask with Gemini. Because Gemini answers every question instantly, and that's what I like. To get direct answers, and not just that, but to also satisfy my curiosity. Yeah. Satisfy my curiosity. Yeah, guys. So yeah, back to yesterday, guys. I went to sleep so late. And I woke up a bit tired today, guys. I did not want to get up this morning. So maybe, guys, the easiest thing to do is kind of to just let those thoughts go. Let those, even if they're good thoughts, just let them be in your mind. Just let them exist. They eventually fade. Because yesterday when I was trying to kind of like grab onto those good thoughts. Because they were just so good. They were just so good. But then that means sitting down in bed for a whole hour. My body was alert. Thinking about it. Yeah. So. It is still. We still have some time, guys, for it to kind of keep. Now, this morning, guys, I told my Alexa to play 2010's music. And she said. And
Pause button. Stop recording.
Sorry, guys, I had to pause because.
System sound volume set to 100%.
Anyways, I was listening to some new music this morning from 2010. I already know the majority of the songs that Alexa played. So it's. I just want to kind of reinforce it. It's also good to try something new too. Alright, guys, I'm going to end this reflection now because besides I have to change my clothes. So I'll see you guys later. I would recommend you guys to subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Stop.